Hello beautiful people on Facebook. Hello, welcome. Hello beautiful people on Instagram. How are you? Welcome to today's topic. Now, first of all, let me say welcome to today's show. My name is Ali Sugars and I have been coming now live, I think for a good couple of months, doing these Monday live shows, and I have called them Monday Magic so far. And the idea behind it is that, you know, I love to come and provide motivation, encouragement and support so you can enter into your day, your Monday and your week ahead and your life with encouragement and with a bit of happiness, right? What I have decided to do though is I am renaming the show, because while Monday Magic is a great show, there may come times when I don't necessarily do it on a Monday morning. So I have decided to rename the show Rise and Shine. Nothing has changed. The show is all the same, so it is still all about, you know, providing inspiration and encouragement for you in your life, but it's just a different name. Simple as that. So welcome to anyone who's joining me today. It's wonderful to have you here with me. So today we are, we're going to talk about a topic which a lot of people may see as quite a heavy one. And I don't think it's a bad thing to address these heavier topics now and then. And the topic is, why do bad things happen to good people? Now, this is a very deep topic, right? And I'm sure that there are many opinions, differing opinions out there, and there's probably a very, we could also have a very philosophical discussion on it this morning, and we could probably discuss it for a long time, right? We could keep going with this one for a long time. Before I move on this morning, I want to be clear that what I'm going to share with you this morning is my opinions, okay? Things that I have gone through, things that I have personally learnt when asking myself this question. But it doesn't mean that, what I'm sharing with you is 100% the only way you can think about it, right? I respect that I'm only human. Other people out there might have differing opinions to me, and I would actually welcome you to share them in the chat if you have differing opinions. I would ask that though, if you're going to share differing opinions in the chat or with our audience, whether you're on Insta or whether you're on Facebook, please do it respectfully. Keep in mind that there are other people watching this, and that, if I do see a comment that isn't respectful, I will remove it. All right, that's the really heavy stuff out of the way, right? So, as I said, what we're talking about today is the question of, why do bad things happen to good people? And this, for me personally, is a question that I have asked myself a lot in my life, right? I've often asked myself this question. And for those of you who don't know my history, I have survived through several abusive relationships, two of which are marriages. I've gone through 2 divorces. Sexual harassment and bullying at work. I have had resulted depression, anxiety and PTSD from those situations. What some of you may not know is that almost 11 years ago now, my beautiful mum passed away from pancreatic cancer. So that was quite a horrific situation that, I had to watch this very beautiful person in my life go through, and also I was mourning and suffering through that as well. I've even had my little pussycat pass away only a few months ago, and for me this was quite devastating because she was a huge source of comfort to me as I was recovering from the PTSD, right? Particularly through that situation. I mean, she's just a beautiful little girl. So Craig and I are still mourning through that, and people might say, oh, she's just a cat, but actually I haven't had anyone say that to me. But, this for me is, we've kind of questioned it, Craig and I, is like, why did she leave so suddenly? What did she do to deserve that? What did we do to deserve that? So again, we're coming back to the question is, why do bad things happen to good people? Even good pussycats. And I suppose another way we could phrase this question, and often another way that this question is phrased is, you know, do we deserve to suffer? Or the way we will ask ourselves this question is, what did I do to deserve this? Who has asked yourself that question? Right? I'm sure that there are a lot of you watching this who have asked yourself that question. What have I done, or what did I do to deserve this, many a time? And, you know, it's most likely that, you know, when we've gone through these particular times of suffering, okay, that, you know, and again, speaking from experience here, we get to a stage where we feel really, really disempowered. And often, depending on the situation, we can really lose confidence in ourselves completely. You know, we can totally lose our identity of self. So we just don't know who we are anymore. This was particularly me when I came out of the workforce a few years ago, almost 4 years ago now. You know, I lost my job, I lost my career, my income, I lost friends. You know, I was going through the mental illness of PTSD and anxiety and depression. And it was just totally, I just didn't know who I was anymore. If you'd asked me Ali, who are you? I'd just go, well, I don't know. I honestly couldn't have told you. And so most likely, you know, when we've asked ourselves the questions that I'm talking about, you know, which is, what have I done to deserve this? When we ask ourselves that question, it is highly likely that we are in victim mode, right? And I want to address that for a sec, okay? This is, when I say victim, I'm not looking down on anyone here, because there are times, you know, when we're in that situation, we're the victim, whatever the situation is. And let's use abuse for an example, because that's what I can relate to. You know, we are in the victim, where we are the victim in that situation, right? And I truly believe that even when we come out of that situation, when we've survived through it, there is a period of time when we need to move through that victim mentality. It's a process that we have to walk through, right, to recover. It's all part of the recovery, 100%. But I also know that, again, from experience, it's important that we don't remain in that victim mode once we get to a stage where we feel like we're starting to recover, right? This is when we go from victim to survivor, right? So we don't remain in the victim mentality, right? And how much more, how much more positive is that word survivor? It puts a whole new connotation around the situation that we've come through, right? Okay. And there are thought patterns that we have as a victim that, as I said, we need to really move through to be able to survive and to be able to recover. I've done it several times. And, but now I've been able to come out of it and put that different connotation on it to now say that I'm a survivor. And this is a process. It's not something that's going to happen to you overnight. Like, if you've been in, again, for example, an abusive relationship or whatever, and you've come out of it, you're still seeing yourself as the victim, that is very natural. And it's not going to be a mindset that's going to change overnight for you. It's something that you're going to need to work through. You're most likely, I'm going to say will, need to get help to move through it, because nobody needs to do it alone. To get to that point where you can say, I am now a survivor, right? So when we can put that new connotation on it as a survivor, and that word instead, that is when we begin to take our power back, right? And instead of asking ourselves, what did I do to deserve that, we can instead eventually, again it's a process, get to the point where we start to ask ourselves, what can I learn from that time in my life? So we're totally turning around the conversation. It's not, well, why did that happen to me? It's like, what did I learn from that time in my life? And I really do believe that events, people, and things, come into our lives, they are put into our lives in our life path for a reason. I do believe that, And while there obviously there are periods in my life when I was suffering through abuse and the death of loved ones, I can now look back and I can say that I have learnt a lot from those situations. Now, did I enjoy them? No. Of course not. Right? Of course I didn't. And it was the really quite shitty things to go through. But because I've gone on that process from being a victim, I've sought the help that I needed, and I've come through to survivor, I am now able to say that I can look back on each and every one of those circumstances and say that I have learnt something from them about myself and even about the other people involved, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. And this is exactly right. When I say I've learnt something from all these instances, this is exactly why and how I got into doing what I'm doing now. This is exactly why I'm coming here and speaking to you today on this particular topic, is because, I decided that I was going to take all this crap that I've suffered through, and I always had this, it was really strange, I've always had this little voice, it's almost like either a voice on my shoulder or a voice in the back of my head or something that said to me right back when I was married to my first husband that you are going to take this. The suffering that you are going through now, you are going to take it eventually and you're going to use it to help other people. Now, as I said, up until a couple of years ago, I had no idea what that was. Until this idea of working as a women's transformation coach, helping women who've gone through stuff similar to what I've gone through, or other, traumatic life experiences or hardships. I help them to come, or you, to come back into your confidence, just like the process that I had to go through myself, So I've been able to take that suffering, those bad things that happened to me, this good person, and now use it to help other people who are going through the bad things, to help these good people as well. So, because I've kind of gone on that recovery process, I can now, and again, I went through the victim mode, absolutely, I went through it. I had to work through it. I had to feel through it, which is something that I tell my clients that I work with. I say all the time, you need to work through your feelings and your thoughts, because if you try and shut them down, or you try and ignore them, that's actually going to have the totally opposite effect. It's not going to help you at all. It's actually going to help, it's going to keep you in that mode of depression. It's going to make it worse. So it is important that you express your emotions, you feel through them, and even feel through that victim mode so that you can come out of it to the mindset of a survivor. And we can also take this, and you've probably heard this, many people that many other business women who do what I do say this as well, that you can come through that, you can take it a step further from survivor to thriver. And that's a whole other level right there. And here's the irony, right? I've just told you I've been through a lot, and it's taken me a lot to be able to come here and speak so openly with you all about it now, publicly. But it's ironic because I can even look back on those situations, whatever they were, with gratitude, right? Because if I hadn't experienced all that stuff, and if I hadn't had to go through that recovery process for myself and learn everything that I've learned about me and about, you know, how to recover, I wouldn't have the amazing opportunity that I have now to work with the women that I work with. So it's absolutely incredible, and this is my desire for anyone who might be asking themselves this question: why do bad things happen to good people? I want to see you, you know, come out of that victim mode, feel through it to the thought pattern of survivor, and then get into the wonderful mindset of thriver as well. I also want to look at the other side of this, right? I want to discuss the people who might be causing the suffering, okay? A word that's being used a lot is perpetrators, right? But I want to look at these people, and a question that I really believe we need to ask is, do they create the bad situations, or are they bad people, right? And while I can't answer for everybody here, right, I do believe, yes, some people have a tendency to be bad or evil, and that's a harsh word to use, right, for whatever reason. I also believe that no one is born that way. I believe that it is a choice that people make. I believe that we are all born innocent, and it is experiences and things that happen to people in their life that might make them become that way. It's a choice, although it is definitely a choice that they make to become that way. Does that make sense? Yeah. And while here, you know, from my experience, I want to refer to both my ex-husbands, right? Do I believe that these were evil men? Do you know what? No, I really don't. Even though both those experiences were abusive in their own ways, I don't truly believe that either of those men were bad people. I don't believe that they're evil people. And I want to refer here particularly to my first husband, who is the father of my two beautiful children, who are now in their mid-20s. In that circumstance, I truly believe that because our marriage did not start off abusive, right? It was a happy marriage. But there was a lot of stressful things that came into that relationship all at once. And because of that stress, he became abusive, right? Now, this was his way of coping, okay? And was it ideal? No, and that's a friggin' understatement. It wasn't ideal. It was a horrific experience for me and for the children to go through, absolutely. But it was his way of coping. And don't get me wrong here. I am not in any way making excuses for him in making that choice to become abusive. But, you know, I do believe that the circumstances that we were in at the time are what led him to that kind of behaviour. And what I also think, I believe that we also need to ask ourselves is for these people, you know, what might have happened in their lives, whether it be, you know, as they were growing up or whenever, what might have happened in their lives to make them decide to act this way? Maybe they were mistreated at some stage in their life, and they didn't have the access to the help they needed to go from victim to survivor to thriver. Maybe they didn't have help to that access that they needed. So, you know, they might at some stage have been that victim, but they never were able to source the help that they needed. So again, I just want to reiterate here, I think that is something that that's a point of view we need to look at, but I'm not in any way making excuses for people who might treat other people badly, because no one, absolutely no one deserves mistreatment. No one deserves to be abused. You know, we are all deserve, I believe, to be treated equally with respect as human beings. But I do think that is a bit of questions that we need to ask ourselves, a bit of food for thought. Food for thought. All right, so let's bring it back. I want to bring it back to us, to you now. Okay, to you as someone who might be in the horrible situation, whatever it is now. You might be in that place of victim, okay, and you are asking yourself, why me? Why am I being put through this? Why do I deserve this? And I'm going to say again, the answer is you don't deserve it, beautiful one. You don't. No one deserves to be mistreated. No one deserves abuse. No one deserves it, right? But I'm going to say that, if you need help, please reach out for help to someone. Please reach out to someone for assistance, whoever it is, whether it's me as a transformation coach, whether it's a friend that you go and talk to, whether you ring Lifeline, or whether you ring Run 800 Respect in Australia. Don't be afraid. If you are in a place where you need to ask for help, please don't be afraid to ask for it. There are so many of us, and I've said this several times over publicly lately, is that there are so many of us who just want and desire to help you through whatever you're going through. And for one, I truly believe too that for one person who is experiencing, going through stuff and suffering, there are 10 of us out there who want to wrap our arms around you, and we want to just help you through whatever you're going through, right? So please don't be afraid to reach out for assistance. I'm here for you if you need me. And also, if you are someone who's been through a situation, you've just come out of it, and you really desire to, you just really want to bring yourself, into that mentality of survivor. I don't want to see myself as a victim anymore. I want to be a survivor, but you just might not be sure how to do that. I want to say again, I'm here for you, beautiful one. I am here. I would love to have the opportunity to help you. So today I'm offering free 30 minutes confidence booster sessions for anyone who's watching this. If you would like to book in for one of them and have a chat and see how I can help you, I would love to have the opportunity to be able to bring you out of that victim mindset into the survivor, to being an empowered survivor, someone who's can say that you are now confident. And so this is what I say, this is a confidence booster session. I'd love to have the opportunity to talk to you, beautiful ones. If you'd like to book in, the link is in the description. And I just want to finish today by saying I know this was a very heavy topic to talk on, right? I get that, but on the other hand of it too, it is definitely one that I feel that really just needs to be spoken about, and I don't really think it is one that we put out there enough, right? But I really do, hope that you've gotten something out of today. I wish you the best week ahead. And, I just want to encourage you to show gratitude in your life. Feel through the gratitude of what you do have, and just go into the week with some beautiful sunshine. All right. I love you, beautiful ladies. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Okay. Bye. Mwah.